NFL playoffs are too big. We have had these wild card weekends with some blowouts in them, just absolute terrible action. And gotta say, they gave us bangers this weekend, right? They gave us no fewer than 4 absolute bangers, cliffhangers, nail biters, however you want to put it. I got to say to you, NFL, well played, baby. You gave us what we came here for. But as much as I want to give it up overall to the NFL, and that's cool, we got to look specifically at you guys. Nobody better for business than you guys. And you know who those guys are. Those guys are the Philadelphia Eagles. This Ryan, we've been doing this all year long where I had to tell myself we're not going to talk about the Eagles every week, right? It had long stretches where we didn't. And it was honestly because I could talk about the Eagles every day.
Correct.
Never get tired of it.
Correct. We can talk Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, AJ Brown every day, every Monday. And they gave us every reason why we want to talk about them every Monday over the course of the last 3 hours.
Think about this, man. They got 2 white dudes out here covering people.
Right.
And that's never the issue. That never came. Shit,
didn't come up.
That's one of the bright spots
right.
of their whole situation. Like, look, man, when the white boys playing defensive back and carrying the load for your team, baby, you guys gotta wonder exactly what's going on here. Look, they lost this game to the 49ers, and it is the rare, flat-out, indefensible loss, right? Like, normally, if teams are playing at any point in the playoffs, with the exception of that 2-7 game, by and large, it's like, okay, this could probably go either way. We talked about this with the 49ers last week. I don't know anybody that plays defense for them, right? And then on offense, and you pointed this out, who the hell are those guys that Purdy's out here throwing the ball to?
Right. So, Kittle goes down with the Achilles. It's a lot of Christian McCaffrey, and then it's Jawan Jennings.
Yes.
It is again, it's a motley crew of dudes that Shanahan's scheming up out there.
That use check guy's still in the league.
Right.
And so this was the thing about it for the Eagles. The 49ers, as presently constructed, should need to make no mistakes in order to win against a team with the horses that the Eagles have, okay? Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions, and they were bad interceptions, right? Like, we're not just turning them around. Those were bad interceptions that he threw. They still beat the Eagles. Still beat them. Like, I have been a Brock Purdy skeptic for a very long time, okay? He is clearly a starting NFL quarterback. And what has to really stink for the Eagles is he was clearly the better quarterback in the game. And I don't mean simply that he played better than Jalen Hurts did. You're asking me which one of them am I going to take? At this point, I'm taking Purdy. And look, man, that imaginary cookout invitation is in peril for me saying that. But I ate already. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how it looked. This is how it appeared to be. You've got, what's his name? Sirianni, after A.J. Brown drops a pass, running at him, right, to go scream at him. And Brown screaming right back. And they can talk all that, yeah, well, we still love each other. Hey, I tell you what my therapist would say about that kind of love, you dig? It's not really what it is. It was a collective failure, right? Is it the quarterback's fault? Yes. Did A.J. Brown drop some passes right there? Yes, and that's got to be the worst for him because he out there mad as hell because Jalen Hurts is not playing well, and then finally he dials it up right on your hands on the 3rd down, and the game matters, and you don't bring it in, right? You had that one in the first half that you did not bring in. It was everybody's fault in this game that the Eagles lost it. This is why I say indefensible. Even without Lane Johnson and a couple guys you down, man, y'all had the players. Y'all had it at the crib. The only way for you to truly lose this game is by being outcoached.
All right, and let's just go through the second half drives. Yes. Punt, 10 plays, 23 yards, field goal. Punt, field goal, downs to end the game.
Okay, and what's Sirianni supposed to be good at? What's his thing? He's the offense guy.
Right.
This is your offense. And look, if your quarterback isn't that guy, I'm sorry, but the other team has Brock Purdy. You understand what I'm saying? Like Kyle, by the way, I don't think we've talked about this nearly enough. They lost that game in the NFC Championship where Brock Purdy got hurt, right?
Right.
I know the way that we talk about Kyle Shanahan as a coach. I know the way that we talk about Nick Sirianni as a coach. If that's the way that we talk about Kyle Shanahan and we talk about Nick Sirianni, how do you think Kyle Shanahan talks about Nick Sirianni? Do you know how furious he was when Purdy went down? Like, do you realize if we think these things about Kyle, Kyle really thinks these things about Kyle.
And if we think these things about Sirianni, Kyle thinks these things about Sirianni.
Oh my God. So you think Kyle's out here trying to get cooked by Sirianni? Like, there's the old story. I think we've talked about this on the show, but if you hadn't heard it, when Bobby Knight talks about, man, I wasn't sure how that game was going to go. Then I look over and saw Dale Brown, and I knew everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's got to be Kyle Shanahan at the prospect of coaching a game against Nick Sirianni. And that's more or less what happened here. His team was the better coach team, period. I would not blame them if they fired Sirianni at midfield for this game, right? They're not going to. But what will it take? Right? Because they're going to be at least they are so talented. And it feels like they'll be this talented for a while that they'll be able to win 10, 11, 12 games.
Right.
But something's not right.
Right. I mean, and if something was not right all year, the vibes were not great all year.
They weren't great last year. They just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're now 2 of the last 3 years where the vibes are terrible. You have a stunning collapse to end your season. I mean,
Yes.
It wasn't as bad as the Bucs loss where they quit out there, but the offense was as inept as it's been all year long.
Yes.
This is more than likely AJ Brown's last game with the team.
You got to be.
So, I mean, what exactly, as Deontay always says, what exactly do you do here?
Yeah, so when you are getting booed in a close playoff game, because here we go with that shit again. That's people couldn't even focus to keep the main thing. So, whoo. And again, though, credit to Shanahan and really credit to Saleh, man, because them dudes is out there bringing the hammer with, I'm telling you again, I don't know who these people are, and I don't know who these people are because they had people who I did know, guys like Fred Warner, who might go to the Hall of Fame. They're hurt. They were beat down. They're, for my money, Hall of Fame tight end, probably post non-Gronk, best tight end of his era in Kittle. It may be over for him. He just had the Achilles tear. McCaffrey's still getting it done. I did not realize he had 400-something touches this year. This is a tricky one for Kyle because they're down so many guys, and I don't know what this is going to be next year for them, just because of what the physical toll is going to be for all of this. But what it wasn't going to be was him losing no game to no Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, and after this, they have to go out and they got to go play Sam Darnold, and they got to go play that Mike McDonald defense.
Yeah, but no, this is where this gets fun, man, because Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this, but he is Sam Darnold, okay?
Yes.
Like we have seen enough to know that he didn't turn into an entirely different person. But this is teams that have played each other twice. That's going to be a very good game, I think. But again, the Seahawks would be nice to rest as 49ers beat up. I want to also say this right here. Shout out to you, Josh Allen, because a lonely nation turns its eyes to you, apparently. Ryan, I ain't got no idea what these broadcasters going to do if they ain't had no Josh Allen for the rest of these playoffs. I had a buddy hit me up and was like, hey, man, I'll be watching the red zone for the majority of the year, so I don't hear the announcers. And I've been hearing people talk about how they be glazing Josh Allen, but he just figured that as black people being a little hypersensitive about the situation. And then he watched the game and he was like, no. That's not what happened here.
I think that insult applies with Romo and Josh Allen in particular. I think he's going to push him, Dim. It's just all that the whole game.
By the way, hate the tush push so much. Oh, my God. That play where they basically walked it in the end zone and his lineman basically carried him. That's not what this is supposed to be.
Right.
This has got to be the last year of it, right? And I'm not taking no credit away from Allen because the big galoot was galooting, dog. He was getting it done. I mean, he ain't throwing to nobody either.
Right.
Just to be clear, that was an amazing game. I thought, I didn't feel like that's a game where I come out of it really blaming people. Although I guess I didn't think you and I didn't think the Jaguars had any need to throw the ball at
Right,
all in
right. I
that
mean,
game.
they were averaging at one point like 8 yards a run in the first half, and Liam Cohen, these offensive coaches sometimes just can't help themselves.
Just can't do it, right? Like if there's a blame, it's that. But I still, that was a game I came away from it just being like, hey, hats off to all parties involved in the course of it. The Bills, though, I mean, it's just Josh Allen thing is interesting in that we have extended him a measure of patience for being in year 8, right? Maybe this is because we do treat Mahomes like Jordan. And so, like, we knock Charles Barkley for not winning a championship. We knock Patrick Ewing for not winning a championship, but we don't really look at them like they were deficient
Right.
because of the recognition of the time and era in which they played. Maybe that is the benefit of the doubt that we are affording Josh Allen. Because to be fair, we don't really knock Lamar Jackson for having not won a Super Bowl.
Right. We would knock him for bad playoff performances,
Yeah,
but not
right.
for not winning a Super Bowl.
Right. Some sum total of it, right?
Yeah.
So to be fair to Josh Allen and all of this, however, if the quarterback means what we say that the quarterback means, then this is the time for him to go ahead and do it. Because look, let me make sure, like you go back through and you look at what the rest of this conference is going to be. It feels kind of like we're in an era in the NFL where, and I guess maybe it's been longer than this, and we just haven't given enough credit. I know I've talked about this in the past. You can win with a starting quarterback, not necessarily a franchise quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. I think that's the definition of the starting quarterback, but not the franchise quarterback. But truthfully, before him, the last quarterback that we had win a Super Bowl that truly fit that definition, I guess, is Nick Foles.
I mean, we'll never say this, but the last
The old versions of Tom Brady.
No, I was going to say specifically the last Patriots version of Tom Brady, because the Bucks, he was playing a little. He got a little bit going towards the end of that season, and was
Yeah, but
really
he was
good.
bad in the playoffs.
Yeah, and got really good the last 2 years. So that season's weird. But I mean, the Patriots Brady where they won against the Rams 13-3 was kind of the last, like kind of just a guy, like
Yeah.
But I think Foles is a good answer.
Yeah, but in that though, but he's still Tom Brady, right?
Correct.
Like I guess
He still
fundamentally,
got this, yeah.
right. I mean, that year that Peyton Manning was so awful in 2015, where they had to park him to just hope he could come back in the playoffs and give them something.
Yeah.
Even with him being bad and he was throwing them frisbees, right? They were still some comeback wins early in that season on the strength of he's still Peyton Manning, right? Like there was still a magic that he could dial up. But the AFC, there's a high probability of a dude or a young guy like pulling this off in this. Josh Allen to be who is, you know what? I was going to say it feels unfair to be like, to be what we say Josh Allen is. What we're asking Josh Allen to do is things that we've seen Josh Allen do before, but are unfair to perhaps ask somebody to do all the time.
Right. I mean, but this is like to your point, this is kind of might be 94, 95.
Could be.
This might be the gap without Mahomes to you got to get your title now, or who knows with the way these teams are constructed.
Right. So how about this? And I think this is the best way to think about it in that context. Forget about blame, forget about fault, forget about culpability, forget about where you're supposed to be in a given point in time. Just straight ahead. If you gonna do it, I would recommend you do it when the number one seed in your conference is quarterbacked by Bo Nix. Right? Like, I would recommend that now be the time that you go ahead and do it. Because the one thing that Josh Allen does have in common with Lamar Jackson is in the end, you could make a lot of arguments about Lamar in some of these games, and you could say that he was not the reason that Baltimore lost. But the indisputable fact was that he was not the reason why they won. And as of now, Josh Allen has not been the reason that the Buffalo Bills have won the AFC. He is certainly not the reason they lost the 13-second game or however long it was. But he was not the reason that they won that game either, right? Now's the time. Can you get this done? Can you make this happen? I don't think that there's truly any more compelling storyline left in this. This is it. Can the big galoot it all the way and get them to the Super Bowl? If he looks like he did at those points in Jacksonville, Ryan, he's so much fun.
Right. I mean, like Whether or not it's the best, but when he is running around, putting the cape on, it's about as fun as it gets.
So here's the thing to me. Number one eye test quarterback of all time is John Elway.
Right.
And I've had people try to make the point to me, and they come back around on it. They're like, well, Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, nah, but Aaron Rodgers ain't look like that. They're like, well, Aaron Rodgers, he's only 1 inch shorter and the same weight. I hear what you're saying.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't good, didn't get drafted by the Yankees.
So I'm saying, and how about this? Aaron Rodgers got drafted number 25. If Aaron Rodgers looked like John Elway,
1-1.
yeah. There's. It doesn't matter what, right? But Josh Allen really got drafted on looks the part. It was in spite of his actual performance, where he wasn't even all conference in the Mountain West. It was in spite of it. Josh Allen looked so much bigger than John Elway did while doing reasonably similar things
There's
to
a big
what John
difference
Elway
between
did.
6'3" and 6'5", nearly 6'6".
Yeah, he's not as fluid an athlete as Elway was, right? And it doesn't look as easy, or the ball doesn't quite explode out of his hand in the way that it did out of Elway. But when this dude is rolling, man, it's just like, what
do you do?
What in the world? And again, he's not
doing a QB sneak for 10 yards.
I still get that. Ban it. It was absurd. But this is, if Josh Allen wins this, it'll be great for all parties involved. Because there's really, the only true reason to root against him is some measure of hating, right?
Right.
That's all we've got in this. But I tell you, they almost lost it. And in that loss, their coach almost lost his job.